Hello, everyone. My name is Tara Seren, and unfortunately, tonight I can't be with you live. I have had knee surgery, and I am in a place of just vulnerability and recovery, and I'm not really feeling equipped to be live tonight. So I thank you with that understanding, but I did want to give my presence and share my presence as we sit in this beautiful day of that sun, that light, that Christ consciousness, that moving forward in this new way. I wanted to ask that maybe instead we could just sit with the moment and ignite our light beings, our light beacons, our light prayers out into from our inner light and guidance out into the world, communicating with each other, listening to what our inner compass and northern star speaks to us. I'm just taking the moments and those breaths, extending through breath into our light, lighting those beacons. We are the beacons. We are the pillars of light, extending our limbs of light into that Christ consciousness and connecting that light, connecting to each other through hands and feet, through the mind's eye, through the voice and the heart's embrace, through that knowing in that solar plexus and that grounded, rooted tree. Filling up with your generosity and that love and that healing alchemy of the divine masculine. In that way, that these men walked on this earth in this way to show us that. And we allow also that divine, that sacred feminine, that Magdalene to come in and hold us at the root, at those roots, focusing at the root of that tree, and the kindling and the kundalini and the fire that's warming and feeding that energy and that electricity, blossoming our awarenesses through our heart's eye. Becoming really important when we think about that heart's eye and how we connect to each other now, going forward into this world. As we come into that new star, looking on the horizon, looking into the dark of the night, and that solstice being born. That's that Christ energy, that's that understanding. And we get to be those wise people that walk towards that inner heart and then radiate out those gifts that we have to share, to absorb and to connect the messages of our energy in breath and in silence. And so take with me now a deep breath in, holding our length of breath till we need to release it. And then we release all that breath all the way to the end of that and pause. Inhale and breathe that again. Repeat. Enjoy that holding in of life force and breath. That eke, that connection. And when you blow it out again, realize this absence of that air, that ansus, and we recognize through the absence of it that that's our connection. And today has that sun energy, and it's time that we connect and open our awareness to these ways, and we communicate sensorially and access our path and nourishment in that way now. Acknowledging all the places that we have our truth, our shadow, our grace, our light, and that realizing to reject one part of me is to reject the cycle that we all are. And to know that it's in this great vulnerability that we show this moment where we don't know, where we feel forsaken, where we look to the outward and we look to the inward because we know instinctively there's those answers there. what's allowing that vulnerable show, and the surrender that happens when people are around you and they're thinking, looking, doing different than where you're actually authentically feeling, and choosing to pay attention to that. That's how that surrender opens, and where our heart opens, and our movement to grow and expand and participate in the evolution of humanity and all its beings. That's where that comes from, that root, and that thrive to survive, that breath that we live, that breath that's in and out of tree and life and us, and tree and life and us, and that interconnected system of consciousness that we all are. Allowing the inner weavers to weave and ride those waves of imagination, possibility, and freedom as we release the shackles of this past. We can't go forward in this new earthly perspective, this dance, these dances that we've been dancing for time immemorial, time immemorial, time immemorial, since we can remember in time. We have to release those shackles, and sometimes that's with laughter, and sometimes that's with pain, and sometimes it's with ease and grace, and we pray for that ease and grace and that perspective to rise into our parts and into speaking and creation. In our parts, that we rise into our parts, that we are speaking into creation, and recognizing at this point in time we are the ones we've been waiting for. We are in that dance, and it's up to us to walk through that door to the horizon, to the moonset, to the sunrise, and participate in the cycle of life. And it's that field in between, of right and wrong, and we meet each other there. And that's my prayer with us today. And that's my offering in love and in light and in connection with all of you. Thank you. How? I wanted to share this poem with you about how we move through and how we get to that day anew. To me, it's about the great surrendering, and it's called "The Warrior Speaks the Day Anew." As I walk along the guided path, los idiomas unknown, unable to discern their making, altered senses on the tongue of a snake, I recognize my glance, eyes gazing, two paintings handled by my own, an artist that linear time forgot, clinging to the known, the fabric of perception, detailing stories of the great descent into the temple. Chalk, chalk, chalk. The drums of the mother beckons. I take my last breath at the steps of the doorway and show me the way. I am the door, dark and vast, inside. Sounds of the womb rushes over like water, like storm. Darkness envelops the turbulent drums in the deep. Chalk, chalk, chalk. Heartbeat to the ground. Found only seas of the mother raging, shifting, changing, growing. Like a child wraps itself, shielding from thunder, lightning. A calm watching. Raindrops forming ravines, trails, lineages, and paths, destroyed or forgotten. Allowing those seeds to be planted within, sprouting up from the darkness, pushing past those boulders, and the river finds its shape, winding and untangling. Shells of the seed kept sacred, blown open by the growth unbound and the great connection. Jealous are those threads that bind, though Through broken tears and dreams dissolve lifetimes of waiting. Open heart cleansing, surrender to the sound of the weaver weaving and the spider spinning, the magnetic cycle and the labor of love in art and discipline. Surrender osmosis of light and sound merging, the map that I have traced it to memory. Light the key, fierce and wild. Circle the starlight, shine on my bed that I have made on my bed and for my children. Doors open to the cosmos and that fight recedes, and the purpose is known and the mystic is revealed. The power exchanged, the light is born, raw as the dawn rising, and the first breath on that new soaked leaf. The plants shiver, drawn from the well of the source of us all. Everything moves to witness the dawn, just as the warrior speaks the day anew.